very sensitive conversation that I barely have with anyone even.
Sensitive?
It is quite sensitive. Because, it's very sensitive.
I don't want to say it this way, but the females I know with the same lifestyle as you suck at relationships, right?
I am actually in a relationship, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to ask that personal, but you guys heard it. Just got deep.
It really did.
Serious. I was actually going to introduce you, but I think you should do that for yourself and just tell the people who you are,
Okay, most definitely I'll do that. However, I expected an introduction from you.
Maybe next time.
But I am Nobantu Sibiya. I am studying a Bachelor of Arts in Business Admin at Maharishi Invincibility Institute. I am also an actress. Also run a digital marketing agency and...
The pressure, guys. This list just keeps on going. Listen to this, bro.
And the more I introduce, the more titles I actually
Yeah, that's mad.
I am also a PA for a sip and paint company. Yeah. Not to mention that I'm also the vice president for...
That's heavy.
The institution that I'm at.
That's heavy. So I think previously on the channel we had a bit of live streams, and there was a specific comment that stood out. It was that all those guys were males, so I want to tell you that you're officially the first female on the channel. Does that give you any sort of pressure?
Oh no, it doesn't. It actually makes me feel very happy because I'm just like, at least I'm the first to do this, I'm opening the platform for it.
Sure. So as you were saying, and to be fair and honest, you're actually one of the most busiest and most intelligent females I know, and this is what I mean by that. So I think early last year I picked over the fact that you're running a digital marketing agency, and then you're also into acting and all these things you just mentioned now. And I just want to know, does it go back to as far as upbringing? Because that dictates a lot, the environment and all. How did you turn out so independent, bro?
I love how you actually went into my upbringing, right? It is a very sensitive conversation that I barely have with anyone even.
Sensitive?
It is quite sensitive. Because, it's very sensitive. But it does tie down to my upbringing because I grew up in an environment where I was surrounded by overachievers. My sister was an overachiever. My parents, everybody around me was just so good at what they do that it gave me the sense that I need to also get my life running. So there was always this sense of urgency that was there but wasn't really there.
Yeah. So there was like hyper competitiveness. I guess it turned out healthy for you because look at you now. But when you look at it now, would you say there's a bit of like downsides? And by downsides, I mean like, when you look at your, what can I call it, independence, because you're like super independent. Would you say there's a bit of downsides? So when you look at things like, I don't want to say it this way, but the females I know with the same lifestyle as you suck at relationships, right? So do you have that challenge where it's like, dude, you're so busy that, you almost have no time to actually be involved in these things, and if you are involved, it's like, you just suck at it.
Funny enough, I am actually in a relationship, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to ask that personal, but you guys heard it.
I just had to take it out there. Okay, so I am actually in a relationship, and
so nobody should shoot their shots.
Nobody should shoot their shots. Cool. They shouldn't even try.
Comment section.
Yes, please don't.
Okay. Just take it.
Don't do that at all.
Okay.
So yes, I am in a relationship, and in as much as I am a very busy person, I also find it fulfilling to just prioritize the person that I am with, just to give time to the relationship that I'm in, because it has also occurred to me that in as much as I am in a relationship and I do all these other things, I need to be accountable for the fact that I engaged myself in such. So at least the bare minimum that I can do is just to prioritize the relationship and give in at least 1 hour of my day to it.
So have you ever had moments where it like clashed and like your work just was so involved to a point where it was affecting the relationship in a negative way? Like the challenges that you encountered along the way?
No.
Also, you're like good at time management then?
I'm very good at time management.
That's surprising.
Trust me, I am very good at it.
Well, how about factors like your friends, for instance? How do they contribute to this being? Because I'm guessing they're also just as busy, as involved, or is it just you, the person that stands out?
No. So let me just clear that out for you, right? So with my friend group, we are all very busy people.
Sure.
We are all very busy people, busy with different things in different departments of life. One is an artist, actually. The other is an actress. Others are students. We are all so busy that we don't even feel like we're inconveniencing each other when we tell each other that we can't make it to a specific social gathering or something of that sort. But the least that we can do is just make time for each other every once in a while. And definitely I have experienced some clashes, especially with building trust within a relationship, because you may find that now I just got into a relationship with somebody, even if it may be like a girlfriend, just a friend, But maintaining the relationship is quite challenging for me because I don't have enough time to put all my focus on maintaining this when everything else is so demanding.
Right. Now I hear you on that. So when you look at all this very occupying space that you're into, is there ever that time where you just get back to yourself and figure out what it is that brings most peace? As in, like, there should be that one thing that you hold on to and you really enjoy doing without necessarily getting paid or being asked to, and all those things. Like, what would you say that thing is?
Definitely painting.
Painting.
I am an artist.
Oh, you're into painting as well?
Yes. I've been painting since lockdown, actually.
Wow, you're into everything.
I realized that I enjoyed recreational activities during the COVID period, when we were all at home and there was nothing much to do but just to sit and self-introspect and figure out exactly who you are. So I realized that the best way for me to express myself, even when I am not vocal about it, is through creating something beautiful that tells a story. So definitely for me, it has got to be painting. I don't even have to put money on it. I don't have to bet on it. If ever I feel like I am experiencing a breakdown or something of that sort, I resort to my color.
Powerful. So looking at all these different things, what's your first love in all this? Was it, acting? Was it painting? Or like, what was the first thing that you really grew passion for and you went for the very first out of everything?
That's a very good question. But I would say that for me, it was more of independence that I seeked.
Sure. And
in doing so, I found myself expanding my wings into all these other things, like acting and so forth. Because even when I was still in high school, funny enough, I used to be a DJ.
Okay, wow. So this goes way
I used to
back,
be a DJ.
I hear you.
So yes, it was just a matter of establishing myself so that I can grow into that field and I can gain independence. Yes, independence is fair. Of course.
That's fair. So let me come around this time now and just say what's on everybody's mind, because you mentioned all these things. We're always constantly talking about this sort of awareness to the youth, and you're a perfect example of that, because you were very young. I think younger than me, but look, you're young, and you've got all these things going on for you, and what's most important is the fact that you're able to find that time to also engage with other things, such as romantic relationships. But let's be much more extreme about it. Say today you're out there and look, you happen to get married, and then Kat is behind the camera. You happen to get married to Kat, but Kat says,
"Hi, Kat."
Hey. Kat is excited, but Kat says, "I don't want you to work, bro. I want you to sit at home, and this is what you're gonna do from now. You're gonna raise the kids and so forth." What's your take on that as the independent person you've always been since childhood? How do you process and handle that? Because you're in a relationship. So
for me to be in a relationship with Kat would be me and Kat understanding exactly who we are as individuals.
Sure.
Now, it is in my blood to be a hard worker, right? Aside from the fact that I grew up in that space, but it's generally in my blood, in my DNA.
Yeah.
And when I am not being productive, when I am not accomplishing things, I feel less of who I am, And for Kat to come in between me and the basis of Nobantu Sibiya by telling me that I need to let everything go just so that I can focus on a family would be him shattering me. But at the same time, I am well aware that I have a family that I need to take care of. Right. So what I would just do is find a solution to it.
So
find
you try
a solution to balance both of it.
Right. That's fair.
Definitely. For me, it's just balancing everything out, finding a way to balance it out. Because if it happens that you're doing something that is way too distractive, find a way to balance it.
Sure. I think that's fair. You know, so carrying on with the what I would call the most typical challenges that could occur in your way as a young person out there doing your best and thriving in whatever you're into. Have you ever had any challenges from the aspect of morality? You're into acting. How often do you get to times where you feel like this specific thing is morally challenging and you've even declined it, where it's like, I don't want to work here, I don't want to do this because your values and your morals are being challenged? Has that ever happened?
It has happened.
Okay.
Especially in the acting scene, it has once happened where I had a role that I had to play, and in this role I had to now sleep with one of the characters.
Sure.
And for me, even though it is just acting, it still does something to my morality and the basis of what I am and my values, my core values on some. Even if we are just doing it just for the fun of it, right? It's just on acting and it's fake. Yeah. It still does something for somebody else who is not aware of how fake it is. So imagine I'm sitting here and then my grandmother watches the film all the way from wherever she is.
Right.
Not gonna just close the location.
And she's looking
and then she calls me and she's on some girl. What is this? Is this?
I think that would be interesting to see actually.
No.
So has there ever been that case where you've gotten a call from a family member saying, "What have I just watched?" Or what are you doing? Like what was that? Because that should actually be interesting. Has that ever happened where you like, even you don't know what to say because
it has happened. It has happened, especially with the first film that I shot last year in Bloemfontein, right? I remember it caught my mom off guard. She was on TikTok randomly scrolling and then she saw this short video, and then she called me. She's like, "Girl, I just saw you."
This is your mom.
What is this?
Wow. How do you get yourself out of that though? Like how do you talk your way through it?
Fortunately for me, my mom knows that I enjoy being in the media space, so it didn't really surprise her that I was also in acting, right? But I feel like for her, just seeing it without expecting it is what shook her.
Yeah. Okay. So also you're out here in the city, Johannesburg, city lights, and I believe far away from family. I don't know, I stand to be correct. And so, do you have those people that you resort to at times of like distress where it's like, and I'm not necessarily speaking of friends, but like those elders that you like, really take them to heart, where it's like, if you need advice or if you need guidance in anything, you know where to go and you know who to speak to, and they've been taking you through this journey. Do you have such people currently?
Well, before I didn't have, right? I only had like friends that I would confide in every once in a while, until I decided to get myself a therapist because I realized that it's a little bit tricky trying to
confide. Pause. I'm sorry. Therapist. Let's dive on that. Therapist is crazy. So you got yourself a therapist?
Yes.
But
okay, let me quickly explain to you what I mean by I got myself a therapist.
Please.
I woke up in the morning, I took myself to wherever I had to go. I found a therapist, spoke to a therapist, and I'm getting therapeutic sessions.
And this is not caused by anything. You genuinely just thought of getting a therapist.
No. I knew that I needed a therapist long before. However,
you knew that you needed a therapist?
I kept postponing that. I kept just throwing it under the rug. Yeah.
Well, has it been helpful?
It has. It really has.
Okay. Well, did you have to deal with such particular problems? It's just like you just need a therapist. I don't know. Maybe you're just getting enough money and you're like, rich people have therapists, so I'm just gonna.
No. It dealt with like specific problems.
Okay. Well, have you managed to just get through those problems through therapy?
Yeah, we're still working on it.
Also, it goes on even currently. You're like still under that process.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good. I can see it's done a lot of good things. I'm so happy for all the things that you're into. And is there more things you hope to get into in the future that you think are gonna happen anytime soon that we should be aware of? Because I know how things work. It's like, perhaps the things you shouldn't announce now, but those that can be announced at the time being, if there are, what are they? You trying to join our channel or something?
Are you trying to have me on the channel or something? Okay, but as of now, the only thing that I want to do is just build what I already have.
Sure.
I feel like I've acquired a lot in a very short period of time. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm able to build all of it so that when I am no longer around, the legacy still stands. Okay.
Well, before I get to what I would like to say to about wrap it up, I just thought of this particular thing just for you. So I think there's like thousands, if not millions, of young girls watching this at the very same position. I just want you to tell them one thing to always keep in mind, as in to always do, and one thing to never do, if they happen to be in the entertainment world as you are?
Okay, definitely one thing to do is, girl, always keep your head up and don't be afraid to feel your emotions and your being. Don't ever throw that under the carpet. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Be confident about it and move on.
Sure.
That's the one thing, because once you're confident and you've realized that you have actually dealt with the problem, you're able to move past it, and nothing will ever take you back to it. So that's the first thing. And one thing that you shouldn't do is don't rush into anything just because. Let me be specific about this.
True.
Don't rush into fame or getting the money just because you know the guy next door who has the potential to take you there.
Was that been some of the things that you personally experienced, or you just like, you seen it from far and you're like, don't do that, don't do this? Or has it been, have you encountered this personally?
Something I've learned along the way.
You've learned along the way. Okay, I'll take that. So we're going to do a little something before I let you go, because we know you're busy. I'm going to just ask you a few questions, and I just need you to give me one-line answers. We do this to every guest that comes here. Question number one, if you had to describe your calling in one sentence, something you feel you're called to do for the time being, what is that? Just go deep.
It really did.
Serious.
My calling I'd identified as
Take your
being
time.
a healer to the nation.
Being a healer to the nation. That's heavy. I hope you've really been, as you're going along the way, you're able to try to find a way to always live up to that, because that's heavy. And then second question, what is the best advice you've ever received? If you had to pick out one advice that was best out of everyone you've got.
The best advice I'd ever received was from my mother.
Sure.
Who told me that irrespective of how hard life gets, or whatever happens along the way, I should never back down. The aim is to always move forward.
Fair. And then on the flip side of the table, what is the worst advice you've ever received from anybody? How? So you don't get better advice?
The worst advice I've ever received.
Yeah.
Would definitely be, girl, just spend all your money while you have it.
I think
the worst advice.
Can you please just say that one more time? Because
girl,
is the volume okay?
Spend all your money while you have it. That is the worst advice.
Sure. I wish I could go much more on that, but I wish not to. Last but not least, Z, as I like to say, if you had the chance to pass down a single law or rule that the rest of us in the world would have to follow, what would it be?
Take accountability of your actions.
Take accountability of your actions. Do you take accountability of your actions?
All the time.
All the time? So like 10 out of 10? That's bold. That's very bold of you. But look, I hope this was interesting to you as well, just as much as it was to me. I know this is the first of many. In fact, you're joining the channel, as I said earlier. So I appreciate you coming here. We're very grateful to be graced by your presence. I know that you're going to be doing much more later today. So I'm wishing you very good luck to all that. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me here, man. This feels like home. I am definitely going to be back.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Most definitely, man. This feels like home. I love it. Thank you so much for having me, Galubes.
Welcome. It's good. We're rolling, bro. Like, started like this entire time, bro. Okay, so the books should go.
They must go.
When did you get this book, man? You went to the library and took the books?
With enough chairs. So are you getting it? Just stand, bro.
Stand. Who must stand?
Just stand.
For the whole 1 hour.
Just stand.
Okay, yeah.
Thinking about
So just say anything.
Testing 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Yes, no.